Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a gaming video for you for the first time in forever, and it's Modern Warfare 2. This is my gameplay of playing one of the newer maps on PC. You can see I'm a little newbie. You can see I don't have a lot unlocked because, as most of you know, I don't get to play a whole lot these days. Maybe like one game every day, every other day, that kind of stuff. So when I do get on and play, I try to make my time count and have as much fun as possible. There are some factors working against that, such as the skill-based matchmaking system matching me based on my previous 10 years of gaming experience, and still deciding to give me the 5 worst random players in the lobby during the team balance aspect, but hey, I'm used to that. That's par for the course for Call of Duty. We've all experienced that, but there is one thing in this game that will sap all of the fun out of my life. It'll just rend the happiness from my soul, which is border crossing. Oh my god, what a terrible, awful idea for a map that is. I know that this is an old complaint. I know the game's been out for 6 months now. You've all already experienced this, but I'm hitting it for the first time fresh and new today. This is like grandpa calling you on the phone to ask if you invested in NFTs because you could become a Dogecoin millionaire, not knowing it already crashed. But I still got to talk about it. And I thought the best way to do that would be to do a little compare and contrast with Hotdog water, because I think Hotdog water is of similar quality. And just to make sure I was kind of on track, I asked another Call of Duty expert what they thought about the situation.
Oh, hey, Drifter. How's it going? Good to see you here. Which do you prefer, the map border crossing or drinking Hotdog water? Don't make me choose. Why? Why do I have to choose?
Hot dogs are very cheap and simple American meat products that are made primarily of horses. It's recommended but not required that you boil them before eating. Typically the flavor improves after boiling, though I checked in with hot dog expert Boomy, who said that he will eat hot dogs raw or boiled. It doesn't make any difference to him. I've also eaten them kind of both ways. After you're done boiling the hot dogs in water, typically you are left with hot dog water. Water that has a somewhat meaty, processed meat, canned meat kind of flavor of hot dog juice. And I don't think any medical doctor whatsoever would advise that you drink the hot dog water, but you can if you just enjoy its flavor for whatever reason. I personally enjoy mine in a wine glass with one of those little dogs itself, so I can kind of stir like a cocoa stick, and I drink it like it's just like a little fancy drink. Finely brewed hot dog water. Now that we've explained what hot dog water is, let's talk about Modern Warfare 2's border crossing. This map had to have been born out of a developer's Ambien-inspired nightmare. The long and somewhat phallically shaped map is filled with exploding cars throughout most of it, so that the beginning of the match is just people throwing random grenades, blowing up the cars to create new types of cover, and blowing up everything everywhere. So if you're lucky enough to make it to the other side of the map without getting blown up by one of the 80 explosive vehicles, then you can spawn trap the other team. It's literally like shooting fish in a barrel. There's nowhere for them to go. Maybe you could say it's like fishing hot dogs out of water. There's nowhere for them to go. And it's not a very fun experience, so let's go ahead and jump right into a direct comparison. When it comes to color schemes, border crossing is, again, the Modern Warfare engine specialty of 50 shades of brown. It's almost entirely colorless, drab, largely devoid of character. It's like all of Mexico is one giant dust bowl, which is absolutely untrue. And for a person with even mild color blindness, you won't be able to see anything at all. Compared to hot dog water, it's mostly one color, kind of clear, a little bit drab. It's like a little bit of a cloudy, opaque mixture. There might be some dogs floating around in it, but it also doesn't have a lot of color to offer, so I feel like they're kind of equal in that regard. Border crossing, however, does have tons of head glitches. Wherever you go on the map, you will find dozens of enemies posted up behind cars, shooting one-shot kill sniper rifle bullets out of the tip of their helmet or perhaps their eyes. You will have to look for specks of dust, fleas jumping on wires in the horizon in order to not just get popped everywhere you go in this map, because this is one that really rewards campers. Compared to hot dog water, it has no head glitches, no weird cover, and you don't have to worry about campers whatsoever. I guess hot dog water in itself is a camper. It doesn't really go anywhere, but I feel like the hot dog water really has the advantage in overall quality here. Speaking of exploding cars, border crossing has a ton of those things. They are kind of just everywhere. I say everywhere, they're really more concentrated in the middle of the map, and they're not so many around the objectives, but it is still very difficult to push through about 2/3 of the map without without getting blown up by random grenades or somebody shooting a car and it catches on fire and then blows up randomly 5 minutes later. They're insta-kill, they're huge, there's not much you can do about them, they're very annoying. Whereas on the other hand, hot dog water, it'll never explode on you. It can boil, it can get a little hot through that process, but it mostly just sits there and minds its own business. You can't prompt it to do anything, unlike an exploding car. When playing the map Border Crossing, you'll probably notice that the spawns are abysmal, or the spawn points are. The system has its own problems, but especially in this map, it is easy not just to get spawn trapped, that's a rough situation to be in, but to get spawn locked, which is a brutal situation to be in, where you can die almost immediately returning to life. The spawns will rarely flip. I guess this is a situation where they are somewhat predictable spawns, but they're predictably bad. They're predictably unfun. This map seems designed for one team to just get dominance, pin the other in the very back end of the parking lot that is the Border Crossing, and just rack up feeds, go for camo challenges. It's almost like a shipment at some point, and almost always does some team get the advantage and pin you down forever, and it's no fun. Compared to hot dog water, well, it spawns just fine in packs of 8. Pretty much every set of hot dogs you get are going to come in a pack of 8. You cook them in the water and it spawns and it's done. There's not a lot of surprises with it. You don't get trapped drinking hot dog water. You don't get trapped with hot dogs. They just kind of are. Moving back to Border Crossing, if you play this map for more than about 5 or 10 minutes, it will raise your blood pressure. Sometimes maybe even permanently. It's very bad for people that have cardiac diseases because it's so incredibly frustrating and unfun. However, hot dog water kind of does the same thing. If you drink hot dog water, it's going to raise your blood pressure. I have no idea how much. I have no idea how permanently. There's no doctor ever will say that drinking hot dog water is good for your heart. So in this circumstance, I'm going to say that hot dog water and Border Crossing are kind of equal with each other. I will say that Border Crossing, however, is flavorless. Being an abstract map and a concept, it doesn't have a lot of flavor, there's no taste to it, and even the subjective flavor is kind of lacking for this one, as we talked about with the 50 Shades of Brown. But hot dog water does taste like the LaCroix of meat. It has a faint, sickly, sweet hot dog taste to it. That cloudiness in the water is just all the old juices that dribbled out of the dog and carried some oils and fat over your taste buds. So at least it does have some flavor. Compared to Border Crossing, which is going to be dead in a year as the next Call of Duty game is being rushed out into development, all the things you did in Border Crossing, all the achievements and camos and stuff that you unlocked won't mean anything. Whereas, after you've drank hot dog water, it lives with you forever because it becomes part of you. You absorb all 12 calories in the water and carry it with you throughout the rest of your life. So when it comes right down to it, you want to look at these two and do a little compare-contrast. I think the hot dog water slightly out-edges Border Crossing in a couple of key areas. I think when it comes to overall quality, I might prefer to drink hot dog water than I would play Border Crossing, which is a little bit sad, but that's where we're at. At the end of this video, I just wanted to say that this was designed to be fun. It was not designed to be a Call of Duty hate or super mean-spirited video. It is genuinely an experience that I had, that my one game of the day was Border Crossing, and it was miserable. And then the next day, my one game of the day was Border Crossing, and it was equally miserable. It's not something that I would recommend to anybody. And if you did work on this map, on the 1 in 3,000 chance that somebody from Team Infinity Ward saw this, again, this is parody. I'm not trying to crap on your art. That's just kind of a rude thing to do. And I think the next gaming video we do on this channel is going to be a little bit more of a positive one. While this is fun, I don't want to go down into that weird COD hate channel kind of rabbit hole. That's no fun. So we'll be back in a little bit with some more content. Drifter out.